as we transfer over on this 50-inch designated tractor trail quad route to the next single track. PNW Enduro, Greg, I think his name is, posted a good video about trail police and the topic of my trails, and people taking a possessive attitude to public trails and calling them my trails, quote unquote. I'd like to address that a little bit. The guys that built it do have a possessive ownership of the trail. They're the ones that put in the labor to create a network of trails, and those that use the term trail police are using it in a derogatory term, as if these people aren't disclosing, sharing the trail with them. My point is that when a group of people, be it an individual or a group, get together and build trails legally, go into the land manager on public land, and there's a legal trail though. If they've created a route that you want to ride and you're taking offense that the person calls it my trail, and they're somehow the trail police and ruining your fun by not sharing their labor, I think you've got it all backwards. The people who volunteer and create trails aren't the enemy. You should be seeking them out, and you should be helping them, whether it's creating the relationship with a land manager, whether it's creating a relationship with a private property owner, and gaining legal written permission. Old school guys like me, I got my feet in both camps, because when I grew up, an open area, you could go flag and burn on public land, meaning just go hang your ribbons and burn in a new trail, and you talk about building a new trail, and it was totally legal. There wasn't a darn thing the Forest Service could do about it. But the whole open unless sign closed, and then the undesignated route, what they call those, non-classified, unclassified routes. While it was technically legal, it led to travel management, which ended that. So now, if you want to legally build a trail on public land, you got to go to the land manager. You got to do a process where you float the concept, you propose the trail, it goes through scoping, and basically before it even goes through scoping, you got to get somebody in the office, the trail manager, recreation officer, the district ranger. Somebody's got to be on your side, and you got to convince them the need of that route. And then they got to hike it through the office, and they got to go to the different ologists, specialists, and get everybody on board. And then it goes through scoping, and then following a scoping document comes the NEPA, the Draft Environmental Impact Statement, and then a decision document called the Record of Decision. So it's a long process, and then if you're lucky and you get the Record of Decision and a signature on it by the deciding officer, then you go for a grant. So now you got a whole nother process of looking at the grants available and submitting applications for grants, which you need the land manager on board, because they're going to be doing the heavy lifting on all of this. So if you don't have somebody in the office that's willing to start the scoping, to do the draft environmental impact statement, DEIS, and write the grant applications, it's over. You're not going to build a new legal trail. So very few people are willing to go through that process with the government, because it takes years before a route is built legally on public land today. But guys need to learn that process, and they need to learn how to work with the land managers, because if you don't learn it, just building illegal trails, you're going to get away with it for a while. But the problem is your construction of illegal trails and riding illegal trails and off of the motor vehicle use map, you're creating a problem, because it's anybody that is advocating for a new legal route, you're making it nearly impossible, because you're showing your group to be completely irresponsible. And so back to the whole trail police. Here a guy is engaged in an area with the land manager to create a new route. And you're out here just riding wherever you want. You're calling him the trail police because he's keeping everything, quote, secret. No, he's trying to work a trail through the process. He's negotiating with the land manager. He's trying to get trails open, and he's being hindered by those of you that just want to go, just go ride and tear it up. As opposed to, if you would get on board with the advocate, the trail volunteer, you could all ride more, and you could ride more trails, because you'd have more legally designated routes if you had a significant amount of our user group riding responsibly and giving back to the areas one enjoys. So I think it's, from my point of view, the term trail police of, people who make it possible to ride trails, who maintain them, who clear them, who build them. What's your point? To me, the negative implication is to those who have never contributed, who have never got a trail designated, who have never volunteered, who have always, at every opportunity, cut a trail, hill climb a trail, and then put pressure on that area to be closed, or routes be closed within a given area. I don't see how the trail police, who is trying to educate people to keep an area open, and that can include a guy that's got some private stash of trails. If you find it out that there's this private stash somewhere, be it public or private, and you go out it on the internet, your mouth and your posting of it brings it to the attention, and brings unnecessary attention to it, whether it's a land manager or a private property owner. If you're just riding a path and it looks like a cow trail or a goat trail that's maintained and is in good shape, and a few guys ride it, nobody cares. You ride across with respect and responsible and just roll across. People turn the other cheek. They don't even, it's not an eyesore. But if this were private land and a private property owner saw that, and this is your secret stash, but the non-trail police that are all upset at the guy that made this trail, they start hill climbing this, then the private property guy comes by on his horse, or in a side-by-side, or riding his own dirt bike, and he sees that, then he puts up a close sign and he kicks everybody out. So who's the bad guy? The person insinuating there's something negative about a guy that volunteers, that's an advocates for legal opportunities to ride and helps create those opportunities. I would say the trail police are the heroes of our sport, and the negative connotations that many put on the so-called trail police, they're the guys you should get together with, and you should learn from their wisdom and experience, as opposed to trash talking them on the internet. Super steep up there, and it's in the shadow, and there's ice, and there's roots, and it's braided, and being alone, and I'm also going to be, when I come out of that shadow, I'll be staring straight into the sun, so I'll be blinded. So I'm not even going to try it, because I've been up it before a couple of times, but it's pretty gnarly route, and the fact that it's shaded and there's ice up there, I'm going to pass. So I'll still got to take the quad route up. I'm not going to video that, but you can see there's snow and ice over there, so could be interesting. We'll see. Back to the trail police. So if a guy takes ownership or stewardship of a trail, be it the local club, and joins the club and volunteers, or does it individually on his own, he creates a network of so-called secret trails, or he's working with the land manager on public trails. This is going to take us to the top of that climb had I not opted to go around It's a really good trail, but like I said, going into the sun, going into shadow, it was not going to be. I was just going to probably tear it up. So it's like you turn around. My point is, if you have a group of people known as the trail police, and again, being the local club, an individual, a group of individuals who are out volunteering to create and maintain networks of trails, how does that get a negative how is that something to be perceived as negative? It seems to me that the volunteer advocate person or persons, be it a club, that should get respected, and people should want to join and help maintain and create the routes that you claim to enjoy. But instead of helping, you run the trail police into the ground with the negative comment, and you put pressure to close the very trails that these individuals or groups are trying to preserve and maintain access to. So I'm raising the question, what is it that the so-called trail police are doing that you hate so much? The fact that they volunteer, the fact that they advocate for access, be it talking to private landowners and gaining permission to ride on private property, legal permission. They go and negotiate that, and then you come in and jeopardize it. They hate the trail police. You jeopardize the access of someone who worked to get permission to create a network on somebody's private property, or someone who spends a decade to get a new trail built on public land, working with the land managers, going through the NEPA process. You're gonna badmouth that person? What have you done? The person that has a negative attitude to the so-called My Trail crowd. What contribution to the sport have you made to be able to speak of volunteers in such a negative light? I would say that the people are A, ignorant, or B, I can't say it because I want to post this on YouTube, but I won't say it, but I think the people who engage in providing trail opportunity are heroes, and I don't see how bad-mouthing people is beneficial who are doing the heavy lifting on trail work, advocacy, writing the letters, attending the meetings, when your behavior makes it more difficult for the advocate to get the required permissions or legal to build that trail, that you're out there tearing up, cutting the switchbacks, turning into an unsustainable mess by braiding the trail, turning into a rutted situation, yet you never lift a finger. And lifting a finger can be as simple as never volunteering, but treading lightly, learning how to keep it hooked up, not brake sliding, not turning a trail into this, a big mess, bringing people that can't ride, and then cutting the water bars, cutting out the grade reversals, cutting out the straight lining, A lining, and then creating an environment where the the water follows the burned in route instead of the original sustainable alignment. Who's irresponsible? The guy that comes out and gives up several weekends blocking off the rutted portions and rerouting this? Or the people that call him the trail police because he's suggesting you stay on the trail on the sustainable alignment of the route? I don't know. I think the trail police are good people. They're more passionate than anybody out there because they're willing to come out here and try to fix messes like this. And this is just a total mess. It's completely braided. At some point, the land manager will either bring a tractor in here, you know, and try to fix it that way. So then, you know, and change the alignment, put some, you know, rolling dips to divert the water. But rolling dip on something this steep, unless you change the alignment and create a sustainable grade, a rolling dip will just get blown out because the wheel of the motorbike will cut the dirt that is pushed up in order to create a rolling dip, and it just won't last. The real solution here is going to be to make a sustainable grade where it comes across and up. But guys, since there's nothing to really create barriers, guys will dive right off, and then they'll bitch at the quote trail police who went to the land manager, got the grant money to reroute this onto a sustainable route. Why would they want to make it sustainable? Because the option is either mitigate the damage here, fix it, or close it. Rehabilitation equals closure. So erase this condition, put some water bars, and put close signs on either side. But the trail police, he goes for several years, he works with the land manager, he gets approval for a reroute, he gets the grant, he's working the process, and the land manager comes in here and volunteers come in here, the trail police volunteers come in here, make a really nice reroute that's on a sustainable grade in order to prevent this trail from being closed. And the so-called people who use the term trail police in a derogatory fashion, they come back and cut it. And now the pressure's right back on because they can't stay on the trail. They can't minimize their impact to the trail. And that's all the trail police are asking is if you ride a trail, minimize your impact. Don't do this. Avoid brake sliding and learn how to keep it hooked up. Learn how to use the torque of your motor. You learn how to create momentum. Learn how to get the rear tire to bite and tractor up. You hear me frequently, I'll back the throttle out because what I'm doing is I'm weighting the tire. Everything I do is management of that rear tire to try to get it to bite. And if it's spinning, I got a problem. And if I'm not driving forward when I'm spinning, I'm losing momentum. And the goal is to create momentum with the least impact to the trail tread. And so, you know, that tip right there, I'm not trying to be the trail police and tell you can't come. I'm trying to give you a tip to be able to ride this stuff, keep your bike hooked up, and minimize your impact to the tread so that you can come ride it in the future with your grandkids. You know, have a responsible attitude and recognize, man, that's above my pay grade. I need somebody else to ride my bike up that or turn around and pick another route. That's the responsible thing to do. And then go practice the skills required to ride the tougher stuff. How about taking a riding class? How about a guy like Jimmy Lewis and have him teach you, you know? Or you can go, you know, anyways, go seek out instruction. And when you pick an instructor, pick somebody that's going to teach you how to tread lightly, okay? like a Graham Jarvis. He's all about hooking it up. You don't see him digging holes. Graham Jarvis is all about traction control, and he rides right by guys stuck and spinning on a impossible climb. Why is he riding right by him? He's all about traction control. He's all about making sure that he's got momentum and the bike is driving forward. And if he starts digging and comes to a stop, he's stopping quickly to either back up, get momentum. He's reassessing it once he's lost his momentum and comes to a complete stop. He's trying to figure out how to create momentum to get him up and over something. That's all about traction control. So another thing on trail police, we'll just hit all the points. So a guy that volunteers or advocates for the trail, he builds the trail, he maintains the trail, he works with the land manager, be it private property owner or public lands manager, to get a route designated. Now, why is he required to share his knowledge with everybody? Why is he required, or else he's some terrible person because he doesn't share and put it out there on the public, all the work he's done and all the trails? He simply goes out and works, takes care of stuff, yet he's labeled as somebody that's bad. Meantime, why should he have to tell you anything? Now, I would suggest that if you, the one that uses the term trail police or in a derogatory way labels somebody because you consider them having my trails, how about volunteering? How about you helping that person and showing that you're not tearing stuff up? How about showing a work ethic, a volunteer work ethic to that guy? Now, do you think that trail police guy is going to turn away a responsible person coming up and volunteering and then going out and demonstrating through his actions that he is a responsible motorized trail user and that he does work and he does show up? When he says he's going to be somewhere, he shows up and he helps and he works hard. I don't know a single, quote, trail policeman who is going to reject a volunteer. Now, the exception is there are plenty of freeloaders out there who will simply show up to pick the brain of the trail police to find out and pick as much knowledge out of them as they can. And then when the trail police guy is hesitant to share anything because he's been burned over and over and over by the irresponsible rider who shows up to one work project, barely carries his weight, is more trouble than he's worth, and then shows up the next week with a big group of guys posting the location and names of a trail. So the quote trail police, how many times do you get burned before you're reluctant to just bring anybody to a project? Do I want to bring anybody to a trail that's, say, a black diamond, or like that earlier today I turned around on a trail? If we were going to do a work project to realign that, and we were working with the land manager, that trail's steep. I wouldn't bring anybody. I would bring guys that are capable of riding that trail to help, to have somebody that can't even ride it when we fix it because it's above their skill level. That's not fair. I get it if a guy who has never volunteered in his life and doesn't contribute, and he's acting like this trail here on public land is his trail, and he won't, you know. But how would you even know that? In other words, I'm out here riding this by myself, you know. Why does it bother you that I'm out here riding a trail by myself that you don't know where it is? And why am I obligated to tell you where it is? Or I'm some bad person trying to protect my, quote, private trails. So anyways, this is a steep side slope with ice, so I got to be a little careful. It has warmed up, so it is starting to melt. Problem is you never know where there's a piece of ice that's going to send you right off the trail. And so I'm going to be really careful coming down through here, because so here I teach you how to use a map. I teach you how to navigate without this stupid thing on your handlebars. I encourage you to learn how to read a map. I encourage you how to learn how to triangulate so you know where you are in relationship to the geographic features around you. I'm trying to share with you the wisdom and the knowledge that I've gained over, what is it now? 56 years. And riding at the professional level, riding off-road, being a trail rider, being a volunteer, being an advocate, and somehow people think that I am the trail police, or I'm not willing to share, quote, my trails. No, the whole idea of Off-Road Rider 15S is to promote you getting out and going riding. At the end of every video, what's it say? Go ride. But it's go ride, it's not go tear it up. I'm trying to promote responsible use. I'm trying to promote you giving back and being a responsible volunteer, and helping to maintain access to the areas you enjoy, be it private or public land. Okay, learning how to talk to a landowner and learning how to negotiate with him to get legal written access to his land, because you demonstrate that you're a responsible person. So I'm somehow the bad guy? I kind of think the bad guy is the guy that goes and tears it up, rides illegally all over the place, doesn't show any common sense, any degree of responsibility, and the area gets closed to everybody. I kind of think that's the bad guy, but I get it. I'm the bad guy because I have the audacity to promote responsible use and you know, taking care of the trails you enjoy. Sorry if it pisses you off, but back at you. I'm not going to be you know, kind about it. You're the irresponsible moron that would call a volunteer out as something negative. Where have you been? Nowhere. There's not a single mile of legal trail because of your you know, contribution. Yet the guy you're calling the trail police, he's probably got many trails designated and many more hours volunteering, building the trail that you're enjoying, or maintaining the trail that you enjoy, showing up to volunteer projects, joining a club and actually showing up and working, or being a volunteer leader as opposed to just making excuses and just showing up to the fun ride that the clubs do.